Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. How we doing today?
We're good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Really?
I'm doing good.
Oh, man.
You know, dollar.
Yeah. Last night, Damian Lillard played like he was mad at somebody.
No, he always play like
You're
that.
welcome.
No,
You're welcome.
No,
Yeah.
You had that. Get that man in credit. Get that man in credit.
Did Skip just take credit for that performance?
You heard that too, Jenny?
You're welcome too.
My goodness. Thank you. How about we talk about what we saw from Dame last night? Damian Lillard said there wasn't anything he wanted more than to make the playoffs, and last night his game plan proved that. Lillard put the Blazers on his back, tying a career-high 61 points in a 134-131 win over the Mavericks. With the win, Lillard has pushed Portland into the A seed with one game left to play. Shannon, how impressive was Dame last night?
That was a virtuoso. That's what he's been about. Anytime you can get on a list with Wilt Chamberlain, you're in pretty good company because it's only he and Wilt on that list, Skip.
And what's the list?
Only two players to score at least 60 points
three
times in a regular season.
season.
That's unbelievable. Skip, if Dame Lillard scores 40 points, they lose by 20. If he scores 50, they lose by 8 to 10. They needed every last one of his points. And yesterday, 18 of 18 from the foul line, 22 points in the fourth quarter, 3 threes. Even this is coming off the 51-point performance against the 76ers, although the 76ers was a little depleted. Skip, it was everything. I mean, I've never seen anything like it because it felt like a playoff-type atmosphere because if they lose this game, they no longer control their destiny. Someone else controls their fate. And Dame said from the very beginning he wanted something to play for. Give me an opportunity, okay? Adam Silver says, okay, if you're within four games of the 9th seed, of the 8th seed, you have a play-in game. Dame said, I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to go get that 8th seed. And I'm going to have somebody come have to beat us twice in order to make the playoff. Skip, this was everything. I mean, he was doing it off the bounce. He was getting to the rim. He was letting the three go. I mean, we know he has range. That last three, and then all of a sudden I was thinking to myself, I said, you know what? That's Jesus masquerading as Dame Lillard in Adidas.
Really?
That's what I thought to myself.
Oh,
Did you think that was?
It was a miracle.
That's like you thought that for yourself.
Right.
You're like, I was like, dollar.
Huh.
And then after the end of
He
the...
raised the dead on that shot, right?
Skip, you got to admit. I mean, I text Steve, my chief research guy. I said, he might go get that mythical 63. He's like, nah, I don't think he's going to have the legs. I was upset. I got upset when they passed the ball to C.J. McCollum at the end. I want Dave to shoot those 2 free throws. Skip, but it was everything that they hoped for. And given that C.J. is nicked up, Skip, his back, he says he has an injury in his back, and he gave them 8 points. He was a minus 25.
Yep.
Basically, that game came down to 2 people. It came down to Dame Lillard and Carmelo. Carmelo even turned back the hands of time. But Dame Lillard was special. And, you know, in the NFL, Skip, you hear him holler, what time is it? It's game time. In Portland, when you ask him what time is it, it's Dame time. Dollar bill, y'all. Get on the board. Hey, Skip, just go ahead and say, you know what, Dame? I apologize. I'm sorry. Sometimes
Sorry for what?
Sorry. I doubted you, Thomas. Oh, doubting Thomas. You read that story in the Bible.
Okay, are you done?
I'm done.
Now, let's get to what really happened.
Okay, what really happened?
Thank you. I did tweet at the end of the game, great game, Dame, because for most of the game, almost all of the game, he was all-time great. I've never seen such a shooting performance, and to your point, they needed every last point. He made 9 threes, some of them from Key West, and he made all 18 of his free throws, and I love that the most. That's what I respect the most because they are called free throws. Yeah. They are free to be made, and he made all 18, and they needed them because they got outshot from the three-point line 20-15.
Right.
Zinger is out there just zinging them. And, again, from the free throw line, Dallas at least matched basically Damian, but it was tied at the free throw line.
Right.
So they needed all these points.
Right.
And to your point also, CJ, I don't know how bad, it's a non-displaced fracture.
Right.
I don't know, it's one of those micro fractures, but I'm sure it
painful.
It just
probably more annoying.
Irritates.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And he looked irritated last night because he shot 3 for 14 and scored a grand total of 8.
Right.
And usually he's 20-something, so you have a running mate.
Right.
Okay, so I give you all of the above. But I can't go virtuoso like you just went. I'm not going to gush quite the way you just did, because I'll give you this. For the first 46 and a half minutes, Damian Lillard was all-time sensational. But for the last minute and a half of that game, and I cannot tell a lie, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be objective, and I'm about to back it up, he was lucky and shaky, shaky and lucky. And can we start with 129 left, because he shoots a 3, which he launches from 33 feet, which is basically from Cape Canaveral.
Yep.
And if we can see this, he launches it so far and so hard, it back irons so hard, it goes up 2 backboards high. I'm not going to call it quite as lucky as the Kawhi shot that ended Game 7 against Toronto last year. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I mean against Philly. From Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this. In all my years of watching, covering basketball, dating back to the mid-1970s here for the LA Times, I have never seen a shot bound that high up off the rim and go through, because the margin for error as it plunges back to earth, it has to touch nothing, because if it touches any iron on either side, it's going to bound out because it's coming down so hard.
Correct.
There was nothing soft about the shot on its descent.
Right.
So it goes straight through, and that's a lucky shot that tied the game. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it tied the game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so then we come down to the other end, and Porzingis gets called for an offensive foul, which I thought was an offensive foul, and Porzingis is gone from the game. And all of a sudden, a 7-foot, 3-inch rim protector is out. So to Damian's credit, he comes down and makes a nice, sweet little bounce pass, if we could see that, to Whiteside, who is uncovered at the rim because there's no unicorn. It's just wide open in the lane. That's about as easy a dunk, and it's a nice pass.
Right.
Saw the right. It's the right basketball play. So way to go. And that gives them, that gives Portland a 2-point lead. Then your man Luka comes down, misses the first free throw. I'm about to get to how that mattered in a minute.
Right.
Made the second one. And then here comes Dame Dollar down to make the money shot, if we could see that. This is the one that's going to clinch overtime. This is going to ensure a 3-point lead. And he goes up and he misses that one. So that was the money shot that would have at least clinched overtime. And here comes Dallas, down only 1.
Right.
And what did your man Luka do? He went LeBron James. He was afraid of the free throw line because he's a 75% free throw shooter, and he had just missed a big one. And he decides, I got to make the right basketball play, the right pass. I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to kick it underneath to a Trey Burke cutting down the baseline.
Right.
Except Trey Burke was a little too far underneath the basket, and so he glances, Trey Burke does, and realizes Dorian Finney-Smith, who has already made 3 out of 5 threes, is wide open in the corner. Mr. Sharp, why was he wide open in the corner? What happened to our man Damian at that point? Dame was lost. Dame was just sort of floating and had started to come into the lane to, I don't know, deal with Trey Burke.
Right.
And he left Dorian Finney-Smith wide open in the corner. And Trey Burke kicks it to him and then does a very weird thing. He veers to his right and decides, I guess at the last second, maybe I need to try to screen Dame a little bit.
Well, Skip, he had to veer to his right because if he'd have kept going straight, he'd have been right in the direct sight of the shooter.
Okay, I got it. But he said, I'm going to get out of his way. But also, I think at the last split second, he thought, well, maybe I should at least try to shield Dame a little bit.
Right.
And instead, he made contact, fairly significant contact. But Rick Carlisle said immediately after the game that on their iPads sitting on the sideline, that as they reviewed the play, he said Dame flopped. He suggested that Dame deserved a fine for flopping. And yet the offensive foul call on Trey Burke cancels Dorian Finney-Smith. He nails it, man.
Right.
He nails it, and it's going to be, you're in trouble because you're going to be down 2 with 4.5 seconds left. Maybe Damian goes down and hits one. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see that. That would be the crucible of pressure. And Damian continues to tell me, hey, Since I came into this league, I'm as clutch as any player in this league. So I wanted to see that, and I didn't get to, because even Vince Carter said on TNT after the game on Inside the NBA, he said you cannot make that call to decide the basketball game.
Was it a foul?
Yep, it was a foul.
Well, you make that call then.
Okay, so it's close. It's a flop foul, but I'm going to go with you. I probably would have, so to speak, thrown that flag.
Right. I think the thing was, Skip, is because, like you said, he kicked the ball, and so he doesn't want to be in the line of his shooter. He tries to veer. I think he doesn't realize that Dame is that close to him. And so he veers because he's not looking. He kicks the ball, and he's kind of looking at Finney Smith.
Yep.
And he collides into him. And that's the problem, Skip, and that's what I say about officials. If it's a flag in the first quarter, you don't say, well, this team is down 20 points, and here we got 2 minutes left. I'm not going to throw the flag. If it's a foul, it's a foul. That was a foul. He ran him over.
The painful irony was there was no need to run him over.
True. I agree.
Dame was lost on the play.
Yes.
He was out of the play. He could not have gotten there.
No.
So it's a completely unnecessary attempted pick, screen, shield, whatever you want to call it, that turns into an offensive foul that loses the game.
That's different than the Dwight Howard, because Seth Curry could have gotten there and contested Danny Green's shot.
Well,
so
he could have, and Dwight grabbed his jersey.
But that was also foul. But that was different than that. I don't believe Dame could have recovered and got that and contested that shot.
Okay, so just to be fair and accurate here about everything you just said, virtuoso performance, it was until the last minute and a half in which Damian Lillard missed 2 shots, 2 big shots, I think, and one of them luckily went in. And he made one nice dish to a wide-open Whiteside.
Right.
And then he would have been the quote-unquote lowercase go to the game. He would have gotten some blame if he had left a shooter who had made 3 threes wide open in the corner to win the game.
Well, Skip, but here's the thing. He's coming to help. Skip, you can't dismiss, okay, let me deduct. Because he didn't swish a 35-foot 3, let me deduct from that. Okay, because he was coming to help on Trey Burks, his guy, but that's just normal, Skip. Trey Burks looks like he has a wide-open shot. I'm coming to help, and then my man gets an uncontested shot. Okay, so what was he supposed to do? That's what you do.
I wouldn't leave a shooter like Dorian.
So you can give Trey Burke a wide-open 8-footer.
He was so far underneath. He was going away from the basket at full speed when he caught the pass. It was not delivered on time enough for him to turn and get a clear shot. He was going to have to turn in midair and shoot some sort of fadeaway baseline jumper, which might be as hard a shot to make as there is on the basketball court.
Skip, you do realize Dame in the fourth quarter was 4-7 from the floor.
He was extraordinary until the last.
3 of 5 from the 3 and 11-11 from the free throw line for 22 points.
Yep.
You do. So 22 of the 36 that they scored, he scored them.
Okay.
And the reason, even if Porzingis had been in there was nothing Porzingis could have done with Whiteside. Because you know why? Because Dame had beat his guy off the dribble and Kleber came to help. That's what you do. Guy gets beat, you come help, you have to have somebody rotate. They only have one other big in there. So if Kleber's in there, if Kleber's not in there, that means Porzingis is in there. Kleber's not. So it's not like they got 2 backline bigs. So guess what? It's
I think both of them would have been in because Trey Burke came in for Porzingis when he fouled out, but whatever.
Skip, this is it. I mean, you can't find fault with this one. There might have been time you want to
just did.
No, you didn't. You can't. Skip.
You should.
You nitpicking.
I'm not nitpicking. Those are big misses. Did he not miss the 3? You said it was lucky.
Skip.
Was it lucky?
No, Skip.
No, just be honest.
That's
be honest.
Shooter. He's a shooter. He gets bounces like that. I mean,
I don't see many shooters bounces like that one.
How you think he got the name Logo Lillard? Because he can launch it from there and he can make it from there more times than not.
Okay, but those go in the basket. They don't bounce off the back.
So you deducting points because he didn't swish it.
No, he really didn't make it. He shot it too long and it lucked in.
I could have sworn that ball went in the basket.
Is that not luck? I want to put you on the hot spot.
What?
Luck or not?
Luck is what happened when preparation meets opportunity.
Okay. Is it lucky?
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh, so he aimed at the back iron?
Skip.
Did he aim at the back iron? He drilled it off the back iron.
Skip, that happened, in sports, in a situation like this. Now, you didn't say any of the shots that somebody else made in 86 when he hit for his 63, you didn't say nothing about
We're not talking about him, and let's not put Damian Lillard in the same breath with Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Let's not. Who you want, Jordan or Damian Lillard? Help me out.
Skip.
Who you want?
Skip. I'm saying the performance. We're talking about one game in that game. You nitpicking about a guy.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes.
If we sent Damian back out after the game and we gave him 1,000 basketballs just to keep shooting basketballs, trying to recreate that same shot, how many do you think it would take to recreate that shot?
Let me ask you a question.
He could maybe shoot 1 billion shots and not pull that one off.
I guarantee you give Dame 20 shots from that same location, he'll make 2 to 3 of them.
Okay, good.
Okay, so he made it.
Could he do it with 1.5 minutes left?
Yes.
That's my issue. What happens down the stretch?
He did it.
What happened down the stretch of the Boston game early in the bubble that they lost? Go look it up. Go look. They're up 1 with 2 minutes left, and tell me what Damian does down the stretch the last 2 minutes. Tell me what Damian did the last 2 minutes versus the Clippers without Kawhi and Paul George. Go look it up and tell me what he did. That's my only issue.
Okay.
Because he tells me I'm as clutch as anybody in this league, and I just told him, show me.
Okay.
And
he just
shut
showed
me
you.
up.
He just showed you.
Did he close it?
Yes. 61.
Did he close the deal, Shannon? I just showed you what happened in the last minute and a half.
No.
I'm not moving the goalposts. The goalposts are right there at the 2 minute mark.
Skip.
There are 2 minutes.
So only the 2 minutes matter.
Well, the last 2 minutes were pretty important in a basketball game when you're down.
Hold on. But see, this is what you do, Skip. When LeBron James missed the ball, got it back in there, you said that was lucky. See, you keep doing that.
What are you talking
When
about?
LeBron James in the bubble, when they first played the Clippers, the last second shot.
Yeah, it came right back to him.
You see?
He shot it so short it came right back to him. Even you said, oh, yeah, that was a little lucky.
Skip.
Look what I found.
Skip. The man.
Call them like you see them.
I did.
You called it virtuoso, and it wasn't finished. He did not finish virtuoso. But the odds were, the 1,000,000,000 odds were that shot that he shoots from the logo misses.
In.
Okay, so is it fair to say that's lucky? You better believe it was lucky.
So
did he have a little bit of a shaky close because then he lost his shooter at the end? Yes.
So only Dame Lillard is the only guy in NBA history to have gotten a lucky carom at some point in time.
No, obviously not. But he did last night.
He got so 1.
Okay, if that misses, you're down 3 with 1:25 left. I don't know.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. He didn't miss. At some point in time... So
is it a little lucky that Porzingis got a shaky foul, like a controversial offensive foul call that they challenged and lost? Is that a little bit of advantageous situation?
Skip,
yes.
What about Nurkic? Nurkic fouled out with 6 points. And C.J. McCollum, it was 2 of 14, had 8 points. He was minus 25. So Dame Lillard had to take on this excessive load. The man played 41 minutes. He's averaging 41.
I told you. I gave you down to the 130 mark. All-time sensational.
You see what you do, Skip?
No, I'm not doing anything. I'm completing the game over what happened in the last minute and a half, and you refuse to accept it.
Skip.
You're overlooking because you want to cheer against me because I'm having a beef with Dame. That's what you're trying to do, and it's not working because I just showed you the video of what happened in the end. So if you want to overlook it, go ahead. I don't care.
So in other words, only the last minute 30. So nothing else he did up until that point matters.
I just told you it was all-time sensational. How many times do I have to repeat that? But a basketball game goes actually 48 minutes. So if Dame wants to change his number from 0 to 46, I'll give him that. He's Mr. 46. In the bubble, he's been Mr. 46 against Boston, Clippers, last night against Dallas. Mr. 46.
Skip. Okay, so if you lose 2 games, nothing else matters. I don't get where you're going with this. The man scores 61. He's 17 of 32. He's 9 of 17 from the 3. He's 18 of 18. And now what you do, and you always do this, you cherry pick. Skip, I can go back through the history of time, and if I want to find a situation where Jordan turned the ball over, Jordan missed a shot, Bird did this, but that's not how you evaluate the game, and you know it.
Oh, no, I don't know it. I covered a whole lot of Michael Jordan games, and he almost always made the play that won the game. Somehow he'd make a stop, he'd block a shot, he'd make a steal on Karl Malone, and go down and hold the pose on Brian Russell. He did it again and again and again. I've never seen anything like it.
I have.
He was the most I ever trusted anybody in the last 2 minutes of any game I've ever watched. I wanted the ball in or around him.
Well, Skip, I'm sure Portland wants the ball in Dame's hand the last 2 minutes in or around him.
Okay.
He's either going to make the right play by shooting it, a three, or getting into the paint, or he's going to dish it off. But to say after a virtuoso performance, so in other words, if Pavarotti had stumbled while coming on the stage, you go like, that ain't a virtuoso because he stumbled on the way to the stage. You can't do that.
That's before tip-off. Well, it is. If he forgot the words in the last 2 minutes.
No, I said
he did.
Coming on stage. No.
Okay. Well, if he forgot the words at the end of his performance, I'd say, gee, I don't know if that was a virtuoso.
Skip.
If he needed to say, line, I need a line.
No, he doesn't say that. Yeah. Dame didn't say this. Dame said, CJ, you hurt? I got you. Nurkic, you in foul trouble? I got you. Garrett Trent Jr., you coming back to earth from the three-point line? I got you. He carried it, Skip. You know, if he scores 40, they lose by 20. They needed every 61. And because
if he doesn't get a lucky bounce, they probably lose the game. Wouldn't you agree?
So, Skip, there's a lot of luck that happens. You remember when Tom Brady got that? That should have been an interception. The one he threw to Edelman? But you didn't say anything about luck. You say that's Tom Brady being Tom Brady. And that is the reason, Skip, you can't do that. You see, you make every excuse why Dame isn't clutch. Dame is big-time dollar. He was big-time. He was everything. 51 back to 51 and now 61. His third 60-point game of the season. And you said, well, he got a lucky bounce. He missed one shot, so that ain't it.
He missed 2 shots down the stretch in the last 2 minutes.
Oh, my goodness.
And he lost his man.
He's human.
Okay.
But he made up for it. He drew the charge.
Virtuoso, says
He
Shannon
drew the
Sharp.
charge. Guess what he did, Skip? He lost his man, drew the charge, that nullified a 3. There you go.
He didn't draw the charge. He got the charge, dropped into his lap. You know it, and I know it.
What you mean?
Did he jump in the way of Trey Burke? No. Trey Burke almost sought him out. He was going to try to screen him and ran into him.
Skip, Dame could have moved out of the way.
Dame's just like in the wrong place at the right time. It's one of those nights where everything is working, and you're right. It's Jesus-like. It's a miracle. I told you. He raised the shot from the dead, and then he got the greatest break you can ever get because the 3 that probably wins the game gets canceled because of an unnecessary offensive foul.
I'm not
virtuoso.
I'm not betting against Dame that he doesn't get an opportunity to get a shot off and get a good look at a 3-point shot. But Skip, you said
wanted to see it.
You said he had it going last night, and then you find he missed 2 shots, and then he did this. Skip,
it happened. I'm just saying what I just sit here every day and I say what I see, and I just showed you the video.
But see, that's the thing though, Skip. You see that on a guy that you want to confirm and validate isn't clutch. But other guys
I told him, show me, shut me up. Wasn't clutch last year in the conference finals. In our next topic, I'm going to get deep into that. Wasn't clutch against Boston, wasn't clutch against Clippers in the bubble. And at the end last night, didn't come up as big as I thought he would.
So I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So every time a clutch situation presents itself, every all-time great has succeeded. Is that what you're telling me?
No, but more often than not, they do. And I'm seeing a consistent pattern here that I don't love.
No, they don't, Skip. Larry Bird had an opportunity to hit a 3-point shot against the Lakers. They didn't go in.
I'll take Larry Bird any day or night with the ball in his hands with 5 seconds
I'm
left.
taking Dame Lillard any time of the day. There are certain players that you're going to take, Skip, but you can't dismiss 61. And because he missed the shot.
I don't dismiss 61.
Yes, you did.
I did not. I told you they needed every last point.
But you cherry pick. And
I didn't cherry pick. It's happened. It's the crucial part of the game. It's where you win and lose the game.
At the end of the day, it comes down to what? Wins and losses. Because in that 63-point performance, your guy lost. And you applauded. You heap praise as adulation. My guy won.
Nobody cared. He was coming off a broken leg with a bad team.
Again.
We had a bad team. This guy's got a really good team.
Hold on, Skip. Were they in the playoffs? So bad teams make the playoffs, all right? Oh, so you finally admit. So why were they bad if the GOAT's on the team? How can you have a bad team if a GOAT's on it?
Because he was a baby goat with a broken leg. Well, he missed the whole year with the broken leg. He had. He came back early. He shouldn't have come back, and he came back and played the playoffs.
Okay, he got swept. And guess what happened the next year, Skip?
That team he was playing is one of the top 5 teams in the history of this league. You know it, and I know it. They were on their way to winning the championship.
One of the top 5 teams. So you could also say that about the 2018 and the 2019 Golden State Warriors, one of the top teams. They swept LeBron, and you say if LeBron is what you said he is, he should have won at least one game. If Michael Jordan was what
you told me he's the GOAT. The GOAT?
You just said Michael Jordan was the GOAT and got swept twice in back-to-back years.
He was, what, 23 and 24? Oh, my God. Okay, well, you know it. So you got to change the subject when I got you on this guy.
No.
We're talking about Damian Lillard, not Michael Jordan here.
And Damian Lillard is playing like he wants some respect.
You know what? Now it's Dame time.
Look at my AP. It's about that time.
Yeah.
Get him, Dollar. Get him, Dollar.
Just throw it in the watch. He wants the respect. He said Thursday against the Nets, the most important game of their lives.
Drop
we will get back to Dame. Don't worry about that.
No mercy.
After dropping 51 in a win to redeem himself on Sunday, Damian Lillard kept the ball rolling last night when he tied his career-high 61 points and has now willed the Blazers into sole possession of the 8th seed. Shannon, what do you expect from Dame going forward?
Greatness. I expect him to keep doing whatever it takes to get this team in the playoff and to compete at a very high level. And that's what great players do. That's what superstar players do. They lead their team. Dr. King once said the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in times of convenience and comfort, but where he stands in times of challenging controversy.
True.
And in a situation like this, Skip, and I know it's not applicable, so people don't be talking about, you comparing Dame Lillard to Dr. King. I'm just saying, Skip, every game is a playoff game. It feels like he's exerting Game 7 energy because he knows he can ill afford to lose to. Now, he's gotten great help from the Grizzlies because they've crash landed, Skip. But still, he needed this game yesterday to make sure he can control his own destiny. So now we know they're in the play-in game. They're going to either be the 8th or the 9th seed. So we know that. With that being said, Skip, this is what superstar players do. They find a way to say, you know what, guys? Your back's messed up, CJ. I got you. Nurkic, you in foul trouble. I got you. Garrett Trent Jr., you're having an off-night shooting. I got you. Guys, get on. Let me take you there. Where we're going, let me take you there, Skip. He's leading in the bubble. He's averaging 41 minutes a game. He's averaging 37 points a game. He's averaging 9.3 assists. That's unheard of. And leading the bubble in points created. Skip, this is the third most minutes he's ever played in the stretch. And you think about it, the other two instances were in the playoffs. Skip, he's giving you Game 7 energy. He's giving you that on a nightly basis while standing tall. If it's hard for me to believe to see a scenario, if this was Steph Curry or this is Kevin Durant or this LeBron, and they're doing exactly what Dame is doing, we're going to heap praise and adulation. I'm going to give that man his flowers right now. He deserves a bouquet. He deserves an applause. He deserves adulation. That's been a virtuoso, and he's giving you those performances. Has he faltered down a couple of times in the bubble? Sure. But, hey, give him to me. I take him. Skip, I expect nothing but greatness from Dame Lillard. He's on a mission, and he's going to see this thing through.
I hope you are right.
I know you hope I'm right.
Now it is Dame time. Last night was just a small part of Dame time. It was a game they almost had to win, and they did. And I give him that, and he was, for the most part, sensational, all-time sensational. But now he has the greatest opportunity of his career to right the wrongs of his past, of the Western Conference Finals last year. And I'm going to detail that in just a moment here. Some of the wrongs of the bubble so far that put them in a precarious position going into last night's game. He can right the wrong of the Clippers just shaming him, clowning him, laughing at him for missing the 2 free throws and the late tying 3 against a Clippers team that was obviously without Kawhi and Paul George in the fourth quarter. And he has a chance to take care of business against the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm not sure who's going to play for the Nets. Last night, no starters played. Jacques Vaughn said they're beat up. I don't know if any will play. Will they play maybe a half?
Right.
It's a game you should take care of business and win. That's going to be Thursday evening.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a game, Skip. You go ahead and blow them out and get Dame some rest.
Okay. And it looks like they'll play Memphis. I think Memphis is going to be able to win its last game.
Yeah, because they don't know if Utah's going to play anybody.
Okay. So if Memphis wins, Memphis will, I'm pretty sure, be in.
Right.
And then Memphis will be the 9. So you've got 2 shots. You have to win one of 2 games.
Correct.
To eliminate Memphis and move forward to play
The Lakers.
The Lakers.
Yep.
What a great opportunity, because people are again, commentators with huge respect, Shaquille O'Neal, Greg Anthony, they're already predicting that Portland will knock off your Lakers. They are flat on the record already predicting it.
Right.
So it's a great opportunity for a team on paper. I know CJ's got some non-displaced back injury. I don't know. I think it's more of an irritant. It's obviously not stopping him from playing. But will he be quite himself? Will Gary Trent Jr., will the lights get a little too bright? Are they starting to get too bright for him? It's going to be Dame time. And, again, you do have Nurkic back, and you do have Collins back.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you look like with Melo, the new improved Melo, instead of the old Melo, you have a chance to do something very special here. So, again, I can't wait, because now you're in the biggest spotlight you've been in. I think this spotlight will be even bigger than the one last year, because nobody really thought much of Portland at that point. But remember, Golden State did not have Kevin Durant.
Right.
So I boiled down that series to basically 2 guards versus 2 guards, because these 2 guards are really good.
Right.
And obviously they're not quite as good as Steph and Clay, who've been all-time great.
Right.
But if you look at those 4 fourth quarters last year in the West Finals, and I came in here every morning and I said, man, because I thought Portland could win at least a couple of games off of that Golden State team that was struggling at that point. And all 4 games after 3 quarters were very close. All 4 games were winnable for Dame Dollar, the guy that you say is all-time clutch. And again, I thought he would be too. And in those 4 fourth quarters combined, plus 1 overtime, he shot 8 for 26 from the field, which was 31%. And from 3, he was 5 of 17, which is 29%. And he wound up a minus 30 for those 4 fourth quarters and overtime. No Kevin Durant, shaky Golden State. And Golden State managed to survive all 4 games plus winning in overtime, when Dame just disappeared in overtime. He went 1 of 3 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3.
But
so
Skip, you do realize that Golden State had played without KD and won 73 games. They had played without KD, won 67 games and a title.
Okay.
So it's different.
I always ask, are you that guy or not that guy?
So
he wasn't that guy.
But let me ask you a question.
He had a chance to show.
In the history of the game, when had a superstar underdog been favored over a dominant team? Michael Jordan was never favored when he was the underdog against the Pistons. He was never favored as the underdog against the Celtics. But now y'all heap that on Dame to try to make him look bad. Why wasn't Michael Jordan favored over the bad boy Pistons?
You keep telling me he's all-time great. And last year, going into this series, I was with you.
Hold up.
I'm like, okay, here we go.
And guess what?
If they can keep these games close, and they kept all 4 games close going to the 4th quarter, I thought it was Dame time.
It was.
And not one time in 4 tries was it Dame time.
And you remember, Michael Jordan had a 2-1 lead over the bad boy Pistons. What happened, Skip?
Why do we keep bringing up Michael Jordan?
Because I'm trying to show you how unfair you are when you evaluate Dame.
It's just
That's why.
blasphemy. You can't compare them.
Yes, I can. Easy. I'm not trying to compare the players. I'm trying to compare what you're doing here, because
Michael Jordan went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs. It's unfair.
What happens when you get to what happens? What happens?
This guy hasn't played in 1 finals yet.
Okay.
That's been my issue.
Okay.
Just show me.
So from 84 to 90, how many finals did Michael Jordan make?
Okay, he was up against some of the greatest teams.
You keep making excuses.
That's not an excuse. It's a fact. You love the Celtics. Larry Bird was your favorite player.
So let me ask you a question.
It's hard to get through those guys.
Let me ask you a question.
The bad boy Pistons were bad to the bone.
Let me ask you a question.
They defended at the highest level.
Golden State, are they any good? Where would you rank the Golden State Warriors?
Well, your guys knocked them off. They were up 3-1 on your guys, and LeBron and Kyrie came back and got them.
They said, I mean, what I've been seeing is that the 18 Golden State Warriors might be one of the 2 best NBA teams in NBA history.
Kevin Durant was gone.
Kevin Durant was there in 2018. That was his first year.
I'm saying last year he was gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Skip.
Vulnerable.
Skip.
You thought they were vulnerable.
It's a difference.
They were not playing at an extremely high level.
It's kind of like when you took a certain, like you took Gronk out of the lineup with Tom Brady and he still won the Super Bowl. It's because the other guys had played with Brady for such a long time.
Yep.
It wasn't like you were just taking a guy that had been. So the guy's like, okay, we've done this before. Steph and Clay and Draymond said, hold on, we won 73 games before. Why do you think Draymond said what he said to KD last year, Skip? He said, we did this. We won this thing without you. We've been successful without you. So they have the utmost confidence that they could do it without KD. My only point is, Skip, is that everybody is heaping this on Dame, says, you should beat this, you should beat that, when they never, ever did that to any other superstar that was an underdog. Shaq's been an underdog, but they never said Shaq should have won a series. Michael Jordan was an underdog. They never said he should have beat the bad boy Pistons, even after he went up a game on them. Why you got to do that to Dame? To try to make him look bad and say he's not a superstar if he don't beat the #1 seed?
You're telling me he's all-time great. He has not played in a finals yet. You can't even put him in the category of those other players.
So, Skip.
And by the way, I'm going to repeat this to you, just so you got the gravity of this. Since he came into the league, Damian Lillard has the worst winning percentage in the playoffs of any player in the league since he came into the league. Is that all his fault? Obviously not.
What about the players that didn't make the playoffs? What's their win percentage?
Okay, well, I'm just saying, this guy is known as a superstar. There's a big super, all caps, in front of his name.
But I
just need to see it. And again, just in plus-minus in the playoffs, he has the second worst since he entered the league. He's minus 219. Going into last night's game, he was minus 219.
Skip.
So my point is it all his fault? No, but it's time to show. I'm happy for him. He has a sensational all-time opportunity now.
And if he doesn't
he
doesn't do it, if he doesn't beat the #1 seed, that validates your point. He's not that guy, right?
Have people already picked it?
Do
you have respect for Shaq's basketball knowledge? I do. Greg Anthony, I worked with him a long time. He really knows basketball. He's picking Portland.
Okay, I get that. So in other words, because Shaq, who played the game, was an all-time great, Greg Anthony played the game, because they pick him, if Dame Lillard doesn't deliver, it validates your point he's not that guy, is what you're going to use. That's your argument. When you've never used that argument for any other superstar player that was the underdog and didn't knock off the top seed, you never use that.
He hasn't proven anything yet. He hasn't even played in the finals. You can't put him in the same conversation.
Yeah. Michael Jordan didn't play into a finals until '91. He came into the league in '84. You didn't make that argument for Jordan.
When Michael Jordan was a true freshman at North Carolina, in the most talent-packed game I ever covered in college basketball, I was sitting courtside in New Orleans. I saw some kid they called Mike Jordan hit a jump shot to beat Georgetown, and obviously it was Patrick Ewing, their Sleepy Floyd, loaded. He hit the shot of shots as a true freshman.
Yes.
Okay, he did that.
Yes.
You can't take it away.
Skip.
It was not in the last 2 minutes. It was in the last few seconds.
Skip, all I'm saying is that in the NBA, no player, a superstar player, has been asked to beat a #1 seed, and when they didn't do it, says he wasn't any good. That's
the
all
#1
I'm saying.
seed looking like a #1?
But what they look like, they have. That's how they got it.
Did you see the stat? Out of 1,800 five-man, lineups that have been on the floor in the bubble, the Lakers starting five have the worst plus-minus of any lineup that has been used by any team in the bubble. 1,800 lineups, theirs is the worst plus-minus. They are vulnerable. They have looked shaky on offense, and then they have looked shaky on defense.
So if they play their best and Dame them play their best, who wins?
Boy, right now it's looking Portland-ish to me.
Okay.
So here we go.
We're about to find out.
Yep.
Well, they got to win Thursday to keep it in their control. Lose, we'll have to see. Let's move on, guys, to some tension around the league that we saw last night, because it was heated between the Bucks and Wizards as players were starting to be held back. Giannis Antetokounmpo received a flagrant 2 and was ejected from the game after headbutting Wagner. So, Shannon, what'd you make of this, and what should the punishment be for Giannis?
Skip, I don't know what was said. Something had to be said. Because we see sometimes, Skip, when guys are, things happen and guys are right there in their face, they might do something like this. But Giannis came clear across the court. He came from a distance and to do this.
And it was well after, remember, Mo Wagner took a charge.
Right.
He just got in his way and took a charge.
Right.
And then things started to heat up.
I'm like, okay, because Skip, we saw the brawl between, I think it was the A's and the Astros, where the bench coach says something.
Centron.
Yeah, and he says something, and the guy's like, what? He says it, and he took off after.
Said it about his mom.
Right. Yeah. He got 20 games, the other guy got 5.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, for Giannis to be way over there and to come back and to do that, did he say something? I get, they say Sterling Brown said, where there's a lot of dirty plays that's going on from game to game. But, so this is the first time that somebody's done something to Giannis? Skip, for me, this is Normally a flagrant 2 normally gets you a suspension.
Yep.
But for me, Skip, it's got to be 2 games because I don't believe he was going to play the last game anyway. So basically, if you say, okay, you're out of the last game, he wasn't going to play. You got to send a message here. You can't do that. I understand that Giannis is one of the faces of the NBA, Skip, but this is unacceptable. Why would you do that? Do you understand what's at stake here? And I understand, Skip, it was a regular season game or something like that. But I don't believe that a 1-game suspension is all he needs. He should get 2 games because he's probably
So
not
are you saying the last regular in 1 playoff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're going to play, it looks like, or they play Orlando.
Right.
First round. I am completely with you. He better be gone for at least 1 playoff game. Will that derail Milwaukee?
No.
Almost certainly not. But when I saw this, I had the sound down. I was on the phone talking to our producer, Azzy.
Right.
And I looked up and I saw it. And then I saw the replay and I said, what? He did that?
Yeah.
It's WWE.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You just smashed him right in the forehead with a headbutt.
Right.
And it was a pretty vicious shot.
Right.
I was surprised some blood didn't splatter.
I'm surprised also, yes.
Okay. So it sounds like frustration boiled over. I don't know if it boiled over specifically at Mo Wagner.
Right.
I don't know that for sure. But the way it was presented by Giannis after the game and Budenholzer after the game, it was just building frustration because they do beat on him. They do build walls. They do get in his way because what's the best way to beat Milwaukee?
Yeah.
It's just keep
him from the rim.
Keep him from swooping to the hoop.
Yes.
Because when he swoops, nobody can stop that. He's 7 feet tall and long and athletic, and he just slams it from anywhere.
Exactly.
You can't let him get any momentum to the basket. But what happened when Toronto finally said timeout after the first 2 games? They lost the first 2 last year to Milwaukee. Let's just build a wall.
Right.
Let's make him shoot 8, 9, 10-foot jump shots, and he can't.
Right.
And by the way, he is shooting 63% from the free throw line. So the other way is just send him to the line.
Exactly.
Just hammer him, hack him, clutch him, grab him.
Yep.
Whatever you got to do, send him to the line because he has now missed this year 231 free throws. Next on the list is Gobert with 149. So he's missed an extraordinary more number of free throws than the second guy has.
Right.
So what's the book?
I'm going to fire you. I'm not going to let you dunk it. I'm going to make you go to the free throw line and make 2.
You go to the line and make your 2 shots because probably you're going to make 1 of 2. That's the odds.
And the thing is, Skip, Budenholzer is right there. He walks right by the coach like he doesn't even see Budenholzer. Normally, like, man, I better not do that, coach, you know. And Budenholzer looked like, bro, what are you doing?
Yep. So Scott Brooks, coach of the Washington team, the Wizards, said, that's what you have to do to Giannis. You've got to drop off and force him to shoot. So he was defending Mo Wagner, who simply took a charge. And I don't think there were any words exchanged, but I don't know that.
Right.
You could be right about that.
Right.
So I don't care if he's the MVP because it sounds like it looks like he's going to be the MVP.
Correct.
You have to drop the hammer with at least 1 game to say that can't happen again. You can't just randomly get away with doing that. You can't let it boil over. You have to channel your frustration into performance, not to retaliation.
Correct.
Okay? So what have we seen from Giannis this year? We've seen a new sort of edge to him because what did he do when he was live on TNT picking his all-star team?
Right.
He said of James Harden, remember, he didn't take him. He said, I want somebody who will pass the ball.
Right.
Wow. And then after the all-star game, he said, we were trying to go at whoever James was guarding.
Correct.
Okay, just for the record, James passing the ball, he did lead the league in assists in 2017, and he was 3rd in 2018.
Right.
So he's pretty good. He does pass
he
the
can
ball,
pass the ball,
right?
yeah.
And by the way, just to defend James a little bit right now, defensively, he ranks 24th overall in defensive win shares, which is it's very good for a guy we thought played little to no defense.
Right.
He's now 5th in steals. That'll work. He's 5th in loose balls recovered. That'll really work. And he's 6th in deflection. So he is defending at a much higher level.
He's defending at a different level. He's not great on ball, but he's getting deflections. He's getting steals. He's reaching in and pulling the ball out.
Right.
If you remember when Houston beat the Bucks, and they asked him something about Giannis, and James Harden said, next question. He's like, I'm not, and remember, he's like, it would be nice, James said it would be nice to be 7 foot tall and be able to dunk everything.
That was his
But
line.
that's no talent, you know?
The line, I wrote it down. I wish I could just be 7 feet tall and just run and just dunk. That takes no skill at all. I have to learn how to play basketball with skill. He said, that I take more pride in.
Right.
Well, okay, I got it.
So this thing has been going back and forth. But, Skip, that's what, I mean, think about what LeBron has had to go through for 17 years, Skip, for the longest time. And you said, Pop used to say, back up. If you're within 3 feet of LeBron, you're still too close. Because if you get any closer, he's going to blow by you. So let's just build a wall.
Just let him shoot that.
Right. We're not going to let
Your odds are better if he shoots that.
Because if he gets into the paint, he's going to dunk it and lay it up.
You are done.
Right.
And they also had a rule against LeBron, no dunk.
Right.
Because especially if you're playing it in his house,
right. You're gonna
if
get
he
the crowd.
dunks it, people will just go crazy.
And that's the same thing with Giannis. Giannis, until you get consistent at shooting the jump shot, 8, 10, 15 feet, that's what people are going to do. They're not going to just keep, especially come playoff time. Now, Skip, it's kind of hard to do in the regular season because, you know, okay, it's hard to keep that consistent. But over a course of 7 games, and Nick Nurse, they did a great job. It says, okay, Kawhi, you might take him, but Siakam, I want you to slack off. Gasol, you slack off. And they caused him problems. They won the first 2 games, and then the next 4, boom, nothing.
Yep. So he has been ejected, has Giannis, 4 times in his career. So he plays with some edge, and he has a tendency to lose it.
I think the thing you'll Skip a lot of times is that European players are viewed as being soft. And he says, I don't want to be viewed like that, Skip. And he's like, I don't want to train. He doesn't train. You know, a lot of guys, you know, in California, wherever they are, they might come to UCLA and they play, you know, everybody's here, they play it. He's like, I don't want to play with anybody because I don't want to view them as friends. I want to try to, you know, take them apart when I see them on the court. So it seems to me, as you mentioned, he's developing an edge. He wants to be thought of as one of these guys. I got no friends. I'm just here. I'm here. Do my job, take you apart, and I'm going home.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I actually endorse that, but you got to keep it in balance.
Yeah, you can't go headbutting people. You ain't Abdullah the Butcher.
Oof.
I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. But, Skip, in order for this to have this policy to have some teeth, because he wasn't playing the last game, you got to suspend him 1 playoff game.
Got to.
No mercy. Listen up, guys. Michael Irvin is apparently a huge fan of Cowboys rookie CeeDee Lamb. Irvin said, quote, by adding this guy, CeeDee Lamb, is akin, almost tantamount to Kevin Durant being added to a 73-win Warriors team. Shannon, is this crazy? Or actually, maybe is this correct?
Mike out of his damn mind. Michael sounds ridiculous. And I love Michael Irvin, but he sounds utterly ridiculous. CeeDee Lamb was the 17th player in the draft. Now, so in other words, he was basically the third best receiver coming out. Kevin Durant was the league MVP. Kevin Durant was arguably the greatest. People were talking about we had never seen anything now like Kevin Durant. Now, if Michael Irvin, if that was Julio Jones, and Julio Jones was a free agent, he goes to the Cowboys. Okay, Skip, Julio Jones averages about 84 catches a season for about 1,300 yards in his 9 years. He's the fastest receiver to ever get to 12,000 yards. So if he wants to say that, okay, I give that. But CeeDee Lamb, now, mind you, when Kevin Durant joined Golden State, they were 73-9 and lost in the finals. CeeDee Lamb is joining a team that went 8-8 and missed the playoffs. So how is that the equivalent? And let me tell you what this great offense did down the stretch. When they absolutely needed it, all they had to do was win 2 games and then make the playoffs. In Week 12 against the Patriots, they scored a grand total of 12 points. Has Golden State ever had a problem scoring? Even before Kevin Durant? No. Week 13 at home. They played the Bills on Thanksgiving, huh? Well, where the turkey? I thought it was Easter because y'all laid an egg. They lost by 15. And then Week 16 against my homeboy, the one and only, and walk into him. We're back.
Wait, I thought my homeboy was
I got 2. I got
coming on this show.
I got a couple homeboys, too. Dame, my new homeboy.
Oh, great. Okay.
Now against the Eagles, Week 16. Oh, we gonna do it. Your guy is not any good. My guy, walking to him, outplayed your guy, dinking and dacking it.
Grand total of 17 he scored in that game.
And your guy
Way to go.
And what your guy scored a grand total of 9. Is 17 more or less than 9?
My guy had a busted shoulder. Go ahead.
He had a busted shoulder. Skip, this is ridiculous. Now, look, I understand that you like the Cowboys. You like CeeDee Lamb because you love Oklahoma, you love the Cowboys. But, Skip, now you know you can't co-sign this. You can't give this an endorsement. This is ridiculous. Michael Irvin need his butt whipped.
I love Michael Irvin.
Okay.
And I loved what Michael Irvin said about this. I even loved the word that Michael used as he delivered this little speech on NFL Network. He said, I don't want to sound supercilious. Michael Irvin? He must have majored in British Lit at the U. I didn't know he knew that word, but he used it correctly. He doesn't want to come across as arrogant or with a superiority complex. He's just stating the fact.
What about ridiculousness?
Okay. That offense was #1 in the NFL last year. That is the analogy. At yards gained. How about that? No offense gained more yards last year than the Dallas Cowboy offense. You got me on 8-8. You got me on Dak didn't make the Pro Bowl. You got me on all of the rest. But in yards gained, nobody gained more yards. So the playmaker, it takes a playmaker to know a playmaker. I told you, to me, Michael Irvin was the greatest receiver ever. I give you all Jerry Rice's numbers, but when a play needed to be made, 3rd and 8 in Washington or New York or Philadelphia, I wanted 8 to throw it to 88. I'm talking about Aikman to Irvin because 88 is just going to figure out a way to catch it. He might have to push off. He might have to do a little shove. He might have to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Slap.
He might do a little of all of the above. But he is going to get his mitts on the football, and he's going to catch it, and he's going to run with it. That's CeeDee Lamb. When Michael Irvin, I don't even know how much he watched of CeeDee at OU last year at Oklahoma, but if you watched him, he led the nation in yards per catch. Why was that? Because he was a beast after the catch. What did I keep telling you even before the draft? CeeDee is no lamb after the catch. He is a lion. He roars after the catch. Go put in the Texas tape. The arch rival, and he's from Texas. He's just shrugging off Longhorns like they're just little calves. Little calves.
Didn't Texas make a bowl game? Why they look? Skip, don't do that. We've seen a lot of receivers, good college receivers, come into the NFL But to compare CeeDee Lamb to Kevin Durant, you do realize Golden State had the #1 offense at 73-9 and an MVP, and Kevin Durant joined that.
Michael Irvin is seeing a potential Kevin Durant in CeeDee Lamb.
Man, stop playing,
It's hard to compare basketball to football because, as you know, what do we call wide receiver? A dependent position.
Okay.
And again, he's joining 2 really good wide receivers, although the best one, quote unquote, doesn't seem to show up on the road, hence your shots that you took at me.
I didn't take no shots at you. Well, you the one they call him. You talking about where he didn't show up. I love him at home, but I don't like him on the road.
Well, he quit.
You see him at the Jets. He's standing on the sideline playing 2 plays.
Quit against the Jets, and then he quit against Stephon Gilmore. He just said, I can't get open. I want to go stand on the sideline.
What about the Eagles? Where Jason Garrett took him out?
He took him out because he was running half-hearted routes, and that was the one good thing Jason Garrett did the whole year. I can't watch it anymore. Come over here and stand by me. That's the guy they just gave $20 million a year to because the Redskins won. Okay. They're not the Redskins anymore. They're the Washington football team. Yes.
Which is ridiculous. But Skip, if he want to say, if they had got Julio, if they had got D. Hopkins, if they got Mike Thomas, okay, proven. How you going to compare a guy that's unproven, hasn't even caught an NFL football in an NFL game to a historically great player?
He looks good in that 88, doesn't he?
Woo. Oh, Lord.
Hey, I've seen enough. I told you back in September, I interrupted you on this show. We're going to break. And you said, well, obviously, Jerry Jeudy's the best receiver in college football. And I jumped right in and I said, wrong. CeeDee Lamb is. And you're like, huh?
JJ.
Huh?
And I ain't talking about Jimmy Walker. I'm talking about Jerry Jeudy. Dynamite.
The Dallas Cowboys had CeeDee Lamb ranked 6 on their board, and they stole him at 17 because he fell right into their laps. Thank you.
Nobody else? Skip. Okay, fine. They got him, and hopefully it works out for him. But he have yet to catch an NFL pass in that uniform in an NFL game. So before we start comparing him to Kevin Durant, who's a historically great player, can we see him do something?
Good point. I first guessed it. I'm on the record. I told you all of a sudden there's some weird reason that Dak Prescott has vaulted all the way up in some sports books to 3rd in the MVP odds. 3rd?
Hold on, Skip.
Dak Prescott?
Hold on.
They missed the playoffs and he didn't even make the Pro Bowl last year.
He did throw for almost 5,000. He did throw for 30 touchdowns. As you mentioned, he did. So just imagine if Amari had showed up on the road. He'd have got 5,000. So that's Amari's fault.
The reason Dak Prescott is 3rd in some sports books for MVP is the CD effect. That's what's happening. You know it, and I know it. Everybody's looking at this offense like, my God, They got CeeDee Lamb on top of Amari and Gallup in that offensive line and Zeke and Dak. Here we go.
But you don't like Zeke. Remember, Zeke's slowing down. He's not the same anymore.
Well, he wasn't last year.
Okay,
He's got something to prove.
What do you got to prove?
Maybe he'll run mad this year. I love people running mad or shooting mad, as we saw last night.
Hold up. Didn't Zeke was top 20? Wasn't he the top 20 in the football top 100? So if his players, that's what you like because you criticize. Oh, your guy walking to him, he didn't even make the top 100.
He didn't.
Okay.
Good. So here we go. We got CD and you don't.
Your guy didn't make it last year.
This guy's something. We got a new beast of the NFC East. Beast of the East is 88 in metallic blue and white.
So by the year's end, he's gonna be your number one receiver. I
already told you. I told you that the day after the draft. I said, look out. He will soon be the number one. He will replace Amari as the number one. Okay. Gallup is a great number two, but we're going to reverse the pecking order.
So in other words, Amari gonna go from 1 to 3.
Could be. Amari's comfortable being a 3.
Oh, so
he doesn't like that spotlight.
So in other words, you're gonna pay a guy $20 million to be your third receiver.
You're paying him 20 to keep him away from Washington.
Nah, you ain't paying nobody that much to keep him away. Well, he's gonna be your number one.
Okay. All right. Well, just wait and see, Shannon.
Still not gonna make
last year when I said I wanted to root for the Cowboys, I know Skip wasn't a fan, but I am rooting for CeeDee Lamb. So let's just start there because it's going to be something special to see. And Shannon, when it happens, I am so excited to come to work.
You hear that, Bikes? She's
so excited to come to work.
No mercy.
Damian Lillard said there wasn't anything he wanted more than to make the playoffs, and last night, his game plan proved that. Lillard put the Blazers on his back, tying a career-high 61 points in a 134-131 win over the Mavericks. With the win, Lillard has pushed Portland into the 8th seed with one game to play on Thursday. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard with us now. Chris, how impressive was that guy Dame last night?
Wow, that was fantastic. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. The 61 points, the 22 points in the fourth quarter, 9 3-pointers, 18 for 18 from the foul line. And also, he drew a charge at the end of the game with 4 seconds left and threw in 8 assists. So Dame Lillard was tremendous. I call it a regular season masterpiece. And I see Skip over there shrugging, but I call it a regular season masterpiece. And what made it a masterpiece is the context, the stakes. The game is the game. But what makes players either shrink or melt down are the stakes. What is on the line? What is the context of the game? And the stakes for a regular season game really couldn't have been much higher. Number one, it was essentially a playoff game because as every game in the bubble has been for the Portland Trail Blazers, it was a must-win situation. Number two, Dame already said, I'm only in the bubble because we have a chance to make the playoffs. So he put the pressure on himself going into the bubble, saying, I want a chance to make it, and now he's making good on it. Number three, they were facing another playoff team with, I'll say, 2 stars, because Porzingis is balling out lately and really all season. And then Luka, you got a superstar. He outdueled both superstars in this game. Number 4, he's coming off a 51-point game. You rarely see guys go back-to-back 50s. Only 12 players in the history of the game have done it, and only one guy shorter than Dame. That, of course, Allen Iverson. Number 5, his running mate, his second leading scorer, C.J. McCollum, is playing with a back injury. Again, in a must-win game, McCollum can only go for 8 points because he's hampered by the injury. So that makes it big. Number 6, this is a week when two well-respected players throughout the league, 2 of your rivals on the Clippers, call you out and mock you publicly. And then finally, of course, the controversy with Skip. And all that is the context in which this dude goes out and has a historic game. 61 in any, game is great. But to do it under these circumstances, a masterpiece.
Are you done? You sure you don't have 7, 8, 9, and 10 to go through? So,
hey, it is what it is.
My man Chris Broussard goes masterpiece. My man across the table went virtuoso. So it's somewhere between a virtuoso of a masterpiece, says Chris and Shannon. I will give you all of the above for the first 46 and a half minutes of that game. And that's a lot of game. And it was Dame time for 46 and a half minutes. And then it wasn't. And I can't get to masterpiece. I can't get to virtuoso because Shannon always says I moved the goalpost. But no, my goalposts are still right there. It's a 100-yard field. And if you go 99 yards and then you fumble or you get lucky in the last yard, I can't go masterpiece. And in the last 1:30 of that game, Damian Lillard got shaky and he got lucky. And I will detail right now for you, Chris Broussard, how that happened. He takes a shot from Cape Canaveral. He launched it 33 feet to tie the game with 1:29 left, and we could see that. And he shoots it long and hard, and it back irons so hard that it rises up into the atmosphere 2 backboards high and somehow comes down, lucky as it was, and basically swishes because it was coming down with such force it had to swish or it was not going to go through the basket. That is a shot that misses 999,000 times out of a million. It just misses. It's the one that I told Shannon, you could go out and give Dame the basketball. You could give him 1,000 basketballs after the game and say, recreate that shot. And he might take 1 billion shots before he could recreate that shot. It was lucky. It wasn't quite as lucky as the one Kawhi made to win Game 7 against the Sixers, but it was up there in luck. So then also fortuitously, they come down to the other end, and Porzingis, who's having a sensational game in and of himself at 7 feet 3 inches tall, fouls out. And all of a sudden, there's no rim protector for the Dallas Mavericks. So Dame comes back to the other end. I'm going to give him this. He made a nice textbook dish to a Hassan Whiteside, if we could see this, who was just wide open. There's no zinger. They just left him alone. Klebe is somewhere in the lane, but it's a pretty easy dish and dunk. So now we come back down, and Dame has a shot to basically clinch at least overtime. He's got Dame dollar money shot, and he misses that jump shot. And he leaves the door open because it's still just a 1-point game for Luka and company. And here come the Mavericks, down only 1, and Luka goes LeBron. Luka decides, I just missed a big free throw. I don't think I want to drive it and try to get to the free throw line. And he makes the quote-unquote right basketball play. He bounce passes to a Trey Burke who's cutting underneath the basket along the baseline, but he's too deep to actually try to turn and make a shot. But Trey Burke immediately spies, aha, Dorian Finney-Smith is wide open in the corner. He is 3 of 5 from 3, so he is shooting it with a pretty hot hand. And he is spotted up, begging for the basketball. Why was he wide open? I don't know what Damian was doing. He lost touch with the man he was covering, Dorian Finney-Smith. But what does Trey Burke do? He dishes to the corner, and then he veers to the right. And Chris said, well, Damian drew a charge. No, wait. Trey Burke just goes. He thinks somehow weirdly, I got to screen him a little bit. No, you don't. It's unnecessary. The man is wide open, and he tries to screen him, and he runs into him. And again, Rick Carlisle said after the game, that's a flop. His coaching staff looked at their iPads and said, that's a flop. Should be fined, said Rick Carlisle. He said, maybe he will get a fine for that. Whatever. I guess I would have called it. Shannon held my feet to the fire. If it's a foul in the first quarter, it's a foul at the end of the game. But don't tell me that Dame drew it. He was just in the wrong place at the rightest time. He was blessed at the end of the game. He kept getting breaks. And that one wiped off the 3 that ripped clean from the corner that would have maybe won the game. I would love to have seen Dame Dollar get another money shot at the other end. That would have been great theater last night.
No.
Well, I wanted to see it because maybe with 4.5 left, he would have gotten a shot and made a 38-footer to win the game.
You know what would have happened? If they make that 3 and Dame comes down and makes a 3 that ties it, you know what Skip's going to say? Well, you should have, because you missed the shot to put him in the situation to begin with. Skip Bayless is the type of guy that can have a great meal. Everything is perfect. Everybody, the Mater D seats him on time. Everything is perfect. But because the guy didn't fill his glass up with water on time, man, it was terrible. You see, he's going to find the one thing instead of looking at the positive.
Nobody told me that waiter is the greatest waiter in the history of basketball. I'm sorry.
No, you just missed the entire meal because the waiter was a little late with the water. Dame Lillard was responsible for 30 of the 36 points. He scored 22, and he handed out another couple of assists to get to 30 of his 36.
I give you that.
Skip. But here's the thing. Since he missed that free throw, Dame Lillard is 36 and 37 from the free throw line. If he scores 40, Chris, they get beat by 20. If he scores 50, they lose by 8 to 10. They needed all that because, as you mentioned, C.J. back is hurting. Nurkic gave them nothing yesterday. Garrett Trent Jr. has gone cold suddenly from the three-point line. So basically, this was Dame. Now, one of the biggest shots that were hit that's going unnoticed is that Dame got into the lane and he kicked it to Carmelo. And Melo hit a three. Melo turned back the hands of time yesterday also. But Dame Lillard was spectacular yesterday. I can't find fault. I mean, if you want to nitpick, Chris, you know this. Chris, you could go back in time and go back to anybody's game and find a situation where they turned the ball over, where they missed a shot, or they did something. But at the end of the day, we look at this performance in its totality. It's hard for me to find fault. 61 in a win, and basically, this is Game 7. Every game that they've played has been a Game 7. Now, they got some help by Memphis crash landing, and the Mavericks helped them also, Skip. They missed 5 free throws in the fourth quarter.
They did.
And then I was telling Steve, my chief researcher, I said, you know what? This is going to come back to hurt them. I said, you can't leave those points on the board. And sure enough, here come Dame. Every time they tried to get a little separation, Dame would come back. I thought that because they started Dame on the bench in the fourth. And I said, I tweeted, can they buy Dame 4 or 5 minutes? Nope, they bought him 2 minutes. And Terry Stotts said, get your butt back in the ball game because this thing is slipping away. Virtuoso. This is a virtuoso right here.
So help me out.
I want to...
Okay, go ahead, Chris. I want you to answer. Was the last minute and a half a masterpiece to you?
It didn't ruin the masterpiece. It was part of a masterpiece. And I want to address every point you made, Skip. First of all, Porzingis. This was not just a bunch of three-pointers and free throws for Dame. He was in the lane all night, finishing at the rim with their big men there. So Porzingis, was neither here nor there. He would have got dunked on by Hassan Whiteside on that play. So that, I don't think that had anything to do with it, as good as Porzingis is offensively. All right, the second thing, luck does not take away from a great performance. You mentioned Kawhi. We still look at that as an all-time great shot. How about Don Nelson, who shot, you know well, Skip, 1969 Game 7 NBA Finals. It's one of the legendary shots of all time from the free throw line. It really is just like Dame, except it's about 20 feet shorter as far as the shot, right? But that's a legendary shot. How about Michael Jordan, the GOAT? What'd he do, Shannon, against Portland after he hit all those threes in the first half? He looks over to the scorers label like,
I can't explain it.
Right. It's luck. I don't know what's happening.
Wait, did he bounce one off the back iron and it went through? No, he was swishing every one of them.
I have no idea what's going on. You know how much I love Mike, but still, he admitted it. It was kind of, this is something going on beyond me. And Tom Brady, do we take away his 5th Super Bowl because of that interception that Russell Wilson threw at the goal line? Luck is a part of the game, and the great players make their own luck.
That wasn't lucky.
I cannot take anything away from him.
Malcolm Butler, that was the greatest break on a ball I've ever seen. There's nothing lucky about it.
Lucky because Pete Carroll made that call. That was the lucky part.
People tell me Russell Wilson's the best quarterback in football. I think Pete Carroll was right.
Oh, Skip, he wasn't the best quarterback in football then.
Well, that's who Pete Carroll wanted to put the game in his hands.
That was only his 3rd year.
Was it a good pass?
You see what
Ricardo Lockett, right? Hit him right in the hands.
Chris, you see what he does? Because he didn't swish it. Because he didn't swish it. So I'm going to deduct. The ball went in, but because he didn't swish it.
Have you ever seen a shot go in like that?
It's called a shooter's bounce. Skip, you play the
shooter's bounce. Lord have mercy. I've never seen a bounce that high go in. Never have I seen one bounce 2 backboards high and swish.
Skip,
It's a
Why is that?
it's a million to one shot.
Why do you take that away from Dame, though? Why does that take anything away from his performance?
Because his issue with me, he says, he told me on the phone in our private conversation that he put on Twitter, I'm as clutch as anybody in this league, and I have been from the day I stepped on the court in the NBA. Okay? I need you to show me and shut me up, Damian, in the last 2 minutes of these games, because in the 4 quarters against Golden State in the conference finals last year, he was pathetic by your standards. He was pathetic in all 4 and in the overtime. And then in the bubble, they're fighting for their playoff lives. And against Boston, go look it up. Go look at the play-by-play over the last 2 minutes against Boston. They're up 1 with 2 minutes left, and he disappears. He took 1 shot and missed a 3. And then obviously against the Clippers, as Chris points out, they just ridiculed him. And they're not going to ridicule Kevin Durant for missing a free throw or, heaven forbid, LeBron James for missing a free throw. They don't yet respect him enough not to mock him, not to clown him, not to Dame time him when he missed 2 free throws with seconds left and then missed the tying 3. They're not sold yet on him in the last 2 minutes of these games. Is it Dame time or not? I just want to see it. And if you can close that deal the way you should have, you got lucky last night that you got a bounce, and you got lucky Porzingis fouled out, and you got lucky that Trey Burke came over and ran into you for no apparent necessary reason.
So Chris, just so I think you want clarity and I want clarity. So unless you do that in the playoffs, so the regular season doesn't matter, because before Michael Jordan had any of those great shots that he hit in the playoffs, he was making those in the regular season, and I never heard anybody say, do that in the playoffs. Because think about it. Name a loss that somebody has gained more respect. Michael Jordan made his name on that 63-point game, and they lost. And he missed a shot in regulation and in overtime that would have won the game. But they still talk about that to this day. He lost. Dame dropped 61 with 8 assists, with 9 of 7 from the 3, and they won. And Skip is talking about the 1 shot that he missed, and he drew a charge. Wow.
The 2 shots he missed.
Oh, my God.
Well, he missed the 3. I'm sorry, that's a miss.
He did not. It went in. Skip, it went in.
It hit the back iron. Do you aim at the back iron to make a 3? Stop.
Skip, it went in.
That was a masterpiece.
Because when he said it, Chris, when he said he missed twice, I'm like, I don't remember him missing twice.
He missed the 3.
I count that 3 as a miss. It went in. They gave him 3 points for it.
Well, God knows how it went in, because only God could do it.
Hey, Chris, they told me they said that was Jesus masquerading as Dame and Adidas.
Okay.
Oh, really? Is that what it was? It makes all the sense now. Chris, Broussard, good stuff.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes has already won a Super Bowl MVP and signed a record-breaking 10-year extension this offseason. And now the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback is joining us live. Patrick, so good to see you. A few things have changed since I covered you at Texas Tech. And first of all, just congrats. And I want to start with the obvious. How has winning the Super Bowl changed your life?
I mean, I feel like I haven't changed at all, honestly. I mean, it's been cool. It's been surreal. Obviously, a crazy offseason after it, but I'm enjoying being back in the building now and trying to find a way to go back at it and try to get another one.
So, Patrick, Andy Reid traded from 27th in the first round all the way up to the 10th overall pick to take you. I'm not sure anybody else was going to trade that high to take you. I'm not sure anybody but Andy saw MVP potential in you. I know I certainly didn't. When you stepped on the NFL field in training camp or maybe in your rookie year, did you have any moment when it finally occurred to you, wait a second, I can be the best quarterback there is in this league?
Yeah, I don't know if I thought that, but I know that last game that I played in that first year when I came in versus the Broncos, and all the hard work and all like the studying and everything that I had done that entire season when I was behind Alex, I got on the field and things slowed down. Things I had learned throughout the year I could really take upon and use during that game. And that's when I knew that if I kept doing this and kept learning, that I could have more and more success in this league. And obviously I got a lot of good people around me, so that helps out a lot when I'm going out there every single week.
Did you saw that game coming, right?
I did. And that was the game, that's what I thought too, because I was surprised because I was like, the Broncos are going to win. They're not playing Alex Smith. And then I watched that game and I was like, this kid is legit.
Yeah, no, it was a good game for me. I mean, especially being in the elements. It was super cold. Yeah. Playing with a lot of the guys that I'm playing with now, a lot of young guys on the team, and then going out there and having to try to find a way to succeed. I mean, Denver's always a good defense, always a good team, and Mile High is always a tough atmosphere to play at.
So, Pat, a lot of people give credit to your supporting cast, your weapons, your receiving core, as the best there is in football. Does it ever irritate you even a little bit that it takes a little bit of the credit away from you, that you deserve a little bigger piece of the pie than you are given that supporting cast?
It doesn't irritate me at all. I mean, if I can have this supporting cast for the rest of my career and they're giving credit to them, I'll take it as much as possible. I mean, to have guys like we have on this team, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, Damian Williams, now Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, we got guys everywhere. And so for my job is to try to get it into those guys' hands. And Brett Veach and Coach Reed surround me with a lot of great players. And we're winning games. I'll don't care where the credit's given to. I'm just going to try to go out there and win as many as possible.
Go ahead.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
So given supporting cast, you obviously just signed, 10 years? It could be a $503 million deal. Yet, after the sensational bombshell dropped that you had signed the deal, we looked harder and harder, and it looked like, wait a second, maybe if you look between the lines, it's fairly team-friendly starting at the start. So do you feel like you did leave some money on the table for that supporting cast to ensure going forward that you're going to have the best receiving core?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we did with the deal in general was, obviously, I got the financial security that I've always wanted. I'll be able to take care of my family and then generations below me. And then after that, I allowed for flexibility for us to keep great players around this whole entire team. I mean, like you said, I've been surrounded by great players my entire career, offense and defensively. So I'm just excited that now I get to go out there and know that I'm going to have a great supporting cast for my entire career and hopefully be able to win a lot more championships.
I got two questions for you. Patrick, I nicknamed you Patrick Mahomes Boy. Do you like the nickname? And on the top 100, you were named the 4th best player in the NFL by your peers. Are you disappointed that you won a Super Bowl MVP, you won the regular season MVP, and the highest you've been ranked is number 4? Yeah,
first off, I love the nickname, Mahomes Boy. I mean, it definitely rolls up the tongue nice. It's a good one. I like the ring to it. So, I mean, I'm fine with you keep calling me that and keep showing me some support. Even though you're a Bronco, it's all right.
True.
But yeah, the number 4 ranking. I mean, rankings are rankings. They're part of everything. People are going to do it. The guys in front of me had great seasons, but my job is to go out there and try to go out there and be the best player I can be on the field every single week. And maybe one of these days I'll be number 1.
They gave you this. There's this throw off that you want to have with Josh Allen. As arm strength, he got a 99 on Manning. Now you're a 99 player, but you only got 97 for arm strength. And you said, you know what? I want a 99 arm strength also, so I'm willing to challenge Josh Allen to a throw-off. How far do you think you can throw it, and do you think you can beat him?
I think if I'm going to throw off in that situation, I'm going to throw it 80-plus yards. So I know I'm going to put that up there. I know Josh Allen's got an arm, too. I know he can chunk it out there as well. So if he can beat 80 to 83 yards, then he can beat me. But I'm going to put it out there. I promise you that. And I know that we've kind of talked about it before. Obviously, a different offseason this last offseason, but we might get something to happen in these next future off seasons for sure.
So, Pat, a lot of people think you're on pace, that you have a real shot at becoming the GOAT of quarterbacks at obviously your position with the Chiefs. Yet the GOAT right now has moved to what's now called Tampa Bay. Brady is in Tampa. What do you expect from him this year? And could you see potentially a Kansas City-Tampa Super Bowl? Would that be like out of the question to you?
No, never. I mean, that team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean, they have a lot of talent, and they've had a lot of talent for the last couple of years now. And I think when you add Tom Brady, someone who's proven that he can win and get the ball to all those guys and score a lot of touchdowns and also be a great leader, you know that they're going to be a great team. For us, we know the adversity that the season's going to have. I mean, if you look at our season this last year, through the middle part there, we were struggling a little bit, and we were able to kind of come on top and end the season well and then get to the playoffs and make a run at it. But you never know what's going to happen during the season. And so I'm just excited that we have a lot of the same players coming back that have dealt with that adversity before. And we'll try to solidify our spot with a tough division, a tough AFC, trying to find a way to get to that Super Bowl again. And whoever we play there, hopefully we can go out and put our best effort and try to win another one.
Can you imagine yourself playing at age 43?
I mean, that's the goal. I've talked to a couple of my teammates that have some younger kids, and I always joke with them and I say, I'm going to be playing with your kids whenever you're watching from home. And so, I mean, to play till 43, you got to have that mentality that Tom's had, to not only be great on the football field, but be great off of it, be able to go out there every single day and take care of your body. And I've put a good plan together with my trainer every single year so far, and I'm going to try to do that and get as healthy as I possibly can so that I can be playing at that age.
This year in the playoffs didn't get off to a great start. You fall behind 24-0 to the Houston Texans. As you're on the sideline, what's going through your mind? Do you believe that you have a realistic chance of coming back? Because up until that point, nothing has really gone you guys' way. You did have a lot of drops. You had a lot of missed opportunities. But as you're sitting on the sideline, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, once we got to 24-0, my goal and what I had talked to the quarterbacks about on the sideline was let's get it to 10 points before half because we get the ball coming out of half. And so I was trying to get it to 10 points. Obviously, McCole had the big return. We scored a touchdown, I think, 3 plays later. And then we got a couple stuff winning in our favor. And then all of a sudden I looked up at the scoreboard and it was a tie ball game. And so after that, I knew we had the momentum rolling. I knew that we had a good chance that we were going to come out in that second half and jump on them having that first drive. But that's a good football team. I mean, the Texans are a great football team. We're playing them the first game of the season, and we know that they're going to kind of have that sour taste in their mouth and give us their best shot. So we're excited for the opportunity to go out and lead off the NFL season and try to find a way to get a win.
So speaking of that comeback against Tennessee, with 11 seconds left in the half, you had the ball at the 27-yard line, and you took off running. And I was a little skeptical at some of the attempted tackles, but could you sort of literally run us through that play? How did it develop in your head and through your eyes?
Yeah, so if you look at that drive, it was a 2-minute drive. It was a long drive, and it's cold outside, so I'm sure some of those guys might have been a little tired. But we were driving down the field, and it was a play where they were doubling Tyreek. They were doubling Travis. And I was running down the sideline. I was like, we have a timeout. I might as well go for it. And so I hit it down the sideline. I'm not the fastest guy, but I feel like I'm a little elusive a little bit. And so I started running down the sideline. I kind of scrambled around, cut it back. Almost got stripped in the end zone, but I was able to hold on to it. And I showed you a little bit that I have a little bit of escapability, and I'm able to run if necessary whenever I need it.
I mean, for a second, I thought you was Lamar Jackson. I said, look at that Lamar. I said, that's my homeboy. Took it down the sideline.
Yeah, I try to say my runs to the right moments. I don't have them all the time, but whenever I do get a chance, I like to show off that I have a little bit of athletic ability and that I can make some runs happen.
Pat, it looked like at the 5-yard line, one of the Titans tried to grab your flag like they were playing flag football.
I think it was because of how elusive I am. You know what I'm saying? I got a little spin. I'm about to get my spin rating up on Madden, too.
Yeah.
That's true. And you did. Let's look at one other play that happened in the Super Bowl. You were in some trouble mid-fourth quarter. You're backed up 3rd and 15 at your 35. You got a rusher in your face. I thought it was a little bit fortunate the way the ball came down to Tyreek, who had to come back for it. Walk us through that play. What happened? When the ball left your hand, did you think it was going to be caught? Did you think it was good?
Yeah, when the ball left my hand, I knew it was going to be caught. I mean, Tyreek got wide open on the route. I know you described it as a punt sometimes,
I did.
But
I'll talking about.
I'll take that punt 100 times as long as it's hitting for a completion like that. So no, it was a good play that we had designed for their defense that we had kind of ran versus the Chargers a little bit. It plays a similar type of defense, and so I asked for Coach Reed if we could call that play and that situation. He called it. I mean, he has trusted me to go out there and call plays like that. And we ran it. Tyreek got wide open. Sammy did a good job of holding that corner on the backside. And then all of a sudden we threw it, got some momentum in our favor. And then it kind of everything started snowballing after that. And we were able to go out there and find a way to win that game and win the Super Bowl.
What is the basic route on the play? How does it work?
Yeah, so it's a play. We actually run a play off of this where we have Tyreek running straight down the middle of the field. And I usually throw it up there. And I think you saw it in the preseason when I threw it to Tyreek versus the Falcons about 2 years ago, where I just chunked it super far. And so him having that speed, he threatens that safety. He runs at him like he's going to cross his face. Right when he gets his hips to flip, he breaks it out to the left side over there. And we have Sammy kind of as our second read. He's the dagger route. And Kelsey's running almost like a stutter over across the field. And so we have a lot of different options with a lot of our best players downfield. 3rd and 15, you want to give guys a chance. And I just try to buy enough time. The O-line gave me time, and I threw it up to Tyreek, and he made a play.
Maybe I imagine it, but I thought Tyreek waved for a fair catch. I could be wrong.
No, I don't think so. You know, I threw it out there a little bit. I mean, Tyreek runs a 4-1, so I don't want to throw it too far, throw it out of bounds. But he made a play on it, and then we kind of got the drive going. Scored that touchdown, then got another chance and hit Sammy down the sideline with a little better throw, and then we got down the field, and then we ended up scoring a touchdown that drive as well.
But, Patrick, you had guys have a combo off that where I saw you running against the Patriots where he starts on one side and he goes completely across the field. So he started that same motion like he was going to go across the field, and he turns it into a deep sail route. And I think that's why it was open, because the safety is getting ready to bail and try to chase Tyreek across the field.
Yeah, you said exactly right. I think the biggest thing that you see is when you have Coach Reid's offense, he's always making the play that he has used weeks before, and then he uses a play to go off of that. And I'm sure Jimmy Ward saw that play, the same play that you saw, and he was trying to open up to get out there, know what Tyreek, how fast he is. But me knowing that the reps that we had that week, that once he makes that break, he's going to be wide open in space. I try to put it out there, give him a chance to make a play, and having that guy helps out a lot for some of those 30-yard different routes that he's running.
So before we let you go, one very serious question. You have been a driving force in the National Football League for Black Lives Matter. How successful do you feel like this movement has been so far?
I feel like it's been positive. It's been positive. We were able to open up discussion not only with kind of everyone around, but with the right people in the NFL and with the Chiefs organization. And if you saw, we did the voter registration with the team and the Chiefs, and we're trying to get everybody registered to vote as community leaders that we are in this community, that so we can go out and talk about how we got registered and get other people registered to vote. And so I think I've got to talk to Goodell. I've talked to other guys around the league, and obviously now it's about action. It's about going out there and making the right steps that we can to take the right steps and make the community a better place. And so I'm excited that we've had these conversations, but now it's about going out there and acting on it and doing whatever it is to make the community a better place for everybody.
Congratulations, Patrick. Appreciate everything you do on the field and off the field. Continued success. My homeboy, you on your way, bro.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
So the good news, Shannon, my homeboy, here to stay. Patrick, so good to chat with you. We appreciate your time, and best of luck this season.
Yeah, thank y'all.
No mercy. Tonight on FS1, the big bats of Nick Castellanos, Joey Votto, and Mike Moustakas lead the Reds against Salvador Perez and the Kansas City Royals. MLB baseball tonight, 6:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. After dropping 51 in a win to redeem himself on Sunday, Damian Lillard kept the ball rolling last night when he tied his career-high 61 points and has now willed the Blazers into sole possession of the ace seed. Chris Broussard is back with us. So, Chris, what do you expect from Dame going forward now?
Well, I'm expecting another great game against Brooklyn. That's their last game. Obviously, they need to win to make sure they get into the playoffs. Guess what he did last time against Brooklyn? 60. When he played him in November, he dropped 60 on them. And Kyrie was playing, so I'm sure he was motivated to go against Kyrie. But I think, Skip, you may be doing him a favor by critiquing his last 90 seconds of this game. He clearly is motivated by the naysayers. We saw it with the Clippers guys. We saw it last night. So I think he's going to be even more motivated to come out and have a huge game. I think he goes for at least 36. But I would not be surprised, and this is going to might sound crazy, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for another 50. I really wouldn't. He may have to, because we don't know what's going to be going on with C.J. McCollum's back. Nurkic will be better, I'm sure, but Melo probably won't give him 26. So he's going to have another big game, and I think he's capable of doing it, and I think he will, because he's backed up everything he said thus far, except missing those free throws against the Clippers.
Skip, Chris, guys, you know what I'm seeing? I think Dame is a guy that if somebody from the opposing team is viewed as a superstar, We remember what he did in that night with Kobe when he went to a Staples Center, and they had the speech, and they talked about Kobe, showed the montage. He goes for a monster number. I think he goes for 48. You mentioned November, Kyrie on the other side, he goes for 60. In Golden State, who's in Golden State? Steph Curry. Oh, Steph better than you. He drops 61. He goes into this game. Who's on the other side? Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is better. So what you're starting to see, if Dame goes against somebody, if you look at what he did against, and he didn't come up big, and this is what Skip has been knocking him for against the Clippers, is that if there's somebody on the other side, and that person is viewed better than Dame, Dame is like, okay, when I leave this game, I bet y'all mention me in the same breath that y'all mentioned that guy. He was special yesterday. I expect to see greatness moving forward, Chris. I still expect to see greatness because he has to be that. Because we don't know if and when CJ's back's going to be better. Gary Trent Jr. might not continue that hot streak that he was on the first 5 games disappeared. Nurkic, okay, he may or may not. As you mentioned, Carmelo was 10 of 17 yesterday, 3 of 5 from the three-point line, gave him 26. He was plus 12. The one thing that we can count on is Dame. He's playing major minutes. He's giving you Game 7 energy with Game 7 type minutes. He's averaging 47, and so he can't let down. So I expect Dame to continue to be great, but, you know, all good things but come to an end sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? All things but come to an end.
So, Shannon Sharp, who is the GOAT? Let me hear it again.
Hey, no. I don't know,
Go James, right? Go James.
You think what you're trying to do, Chris?
Guess what's about to happen? I'm pretty sure Dame Dollar's going to take care of business against what's left of the Nets, and I don't even know if they'll play their starters in this last game because they didn't play them last night. And then I think it's going to be Memphis. I think Memphis will win and probably be in. So all of a sudden, Dame Dollar will have 2 shots to beat Memphis one time. I think that'll happen. And guess who's sitting there, 1 versus 8? The GOAT, says Shannon Sharp, will be against Dame. And will Dame say, I got to put the GOAT in his place? Really? He did it on Kobe night.
Dame's trying to make a name for himself, and he knows this would move him into upper echelon, because when you can take an 8 seed and you can beat what some consider a super team with 2 of the 5 best or 2 of the top 6 best players in the NBA, and you can do that, obviously, this would be a huge feather in Dame Lillard's cap.
What did I tell you earlier in the show? Greatest opportunity of his career is about to happen, and he can right the wrong against Golden State last year in the conference finals when he was not good in the 4 fourth quarters that were all winnable games for Portland against a no KD Golden State. Damian just came up small. He was not clutch in those 4th quarters and the one overtime after game 4. So the point is, against the Lakers, now Shaq is already predicting Portland will knock off the Lakers. Greg Anthony is predicting Portland will knock off the Lakers. Now it's Dame time. Now let's see what you got.
So in other words, if he doesn't do that, so Chris, you see what's happening here? Now, what Skip's going to say, if he doesn't knock off the 8 seed, he's not that guy. You notice that?
Right.
No.
Well, first of all, and I'm with you guys in that I've picked Portland, you know, going into the bubble. I picked them to get that 8th seed. It's not a lock, though. First of all, I'm hoping that we see Portland and Phoenix.
Yes.
Because Dame versus Devin, right? Devin Booker, that is must-see TV. Yeah. But it's likely we see Portland, Memphis. It is not easy to beat a team 2 straight times. And look, Ja Morant is no slouch. You know, I know he's a rookie, but he's a pretty good defender, especially for a young guy. Dame will play well, but we saw when they played earlier in the bubble, it took everything Portland had to beat Memphis. So I'm picking Portland, but I don't think it's a lock yet that they meet the Lakers. If they do meet the Lakers, I told you guys I don't see Portland beating them. I do think Dame will push them to 6, maybe 7 games. I think he'll win a few games with brilliance in that series, but I don't see him beating LeBron and AD. And I think Dame is reaching that point. Now, Skip already is critical of him for, not going deep in the playoffs. But most people haven't been, because he hasn't been viewed as that level. I think now he has hit the level where it will become widespread criticism if he doesn't go deep in the playoffs. Or really, I think he has to win an MVP or win a championship. because now everybody knows you're a great individual player. We got you on that level, kind of like James Harden. We know you're spectacular individually. If you keep this up, you'll be a Hall of Famer, easy and all that. But we can't praise you more until you get to that next level, which will be MVP, or can you make your teammates better and win the championship? He's getting to be to that level.
But the thing is, Chris, you know how hard it is for guards, especially 6-foot guards, to lead a team to a championship. What, Isaiah? I mean, we got to go back. I mean, because when you think about it.
Isaiah, Steph.
Yeah.
I mean, Gus Williams did it one year.
So we don't, I mean, it's a, in all the years, it's normally a big man, a 6'7" or a 7-footer that's leading the way. So it's not very often. I mean, you get a situation, you get an anomaly like Allen Iverson, 6 foot, takes a team to the finals, goes up against Shaq and Kobe. He did take a game. Isaiah. But for the most part, it's not it's not a small, they can have success. Obviously, Dame is special. Steph Curry was special. But we don't normally see small guards lead teams to the promised land.
No, that's true. I agree. And as good as Dame is, I don't see him leading like this Portland team certainly to a championship. I think he has to show that he's going to lift these guys and make them better. Because they do have some pretty good talent. Mm-hmm. You know, CJ obviously is another nice guard. Yeah. Nurkic, I like Nurkic a lot. You know, Melo in this role at this stage of his career is pretty good. They need some help. They need a defender, a wing defender. They had Trevor Ariza. But, you know, they got to the conference finals last year. That was a strange kind of situation, you know, last year in the playoffs. But I think guards are doing it more now because the league is becoming more perimeter-oriented. But ultimately, you're right. It's only been Steph and Isaiah that have really done it consistently. And so we'll see if Dame can reach that level. I don't think he can lead this team to a championship.
So, Chris, my disappointment with Damian Lillard, and I told him this in our quote-unquote private conversation that he posted on Twitter, I told him that I was disappointed that he didn't come up more clutch, come up bigger against a Golden State team last year without Kevin Durant in the conference finals, because it was basically 2-on-2, Steph, Clay versus obviously Dame and CJ. And in those 4 games, they were all close going to the fourth quarter. They were all winnable for Damian Lillard. And again, if he's that guy, I needed to see more. I came in here every day after those games saying, gee, I thought he'd be better than that. He went a combined in those 4 fourth quarters and 1 overtime, 8 for 26 from the field. That's 31%. And a combined 5 of 17 from 3. That's 29%. And he was a minus 30 in the 4 fourth quarters and 1 overtime. And they lost all 4 and got swept. And you're better than that. And maybe he can be a lot better than that against the Lakers 1 versus 8.
Look, I think that's fair. And I'll say this, Skip. I can only think of one player, and this is why I think he's the GOAT, that's never had clutch moments or a series where he just didn't deliver. And that's Michael Jordan.
Orlando when he lost, in 95 when Nick Anderson stole the ball from him.
A year and a half.
See, there you go. You're doing like Skip.
But that's Shannon, you know, as a pro athlete, that's real. He took a year and a half off and comes back and playing basketball. But outside, everybody, Magic, LeBron, Bird had 8 points in 2 games in his first time. Like Kareem, everybody has had these moments where they haven't been at their best in critical situations, in my view, except Jordan. So that, to me, what happened last year against Golden State does not mean that Dame is not clutch. I'm with Shannon. He's about as clutch as anybody in this league right now. And so I don't think that that's a precursor to what he can do at the highest level.
Can I ask you a question, Chris? When Jordan was an underdog in all the playoffs from 84 to 90, how many of the top seeds did he knock off? I'm saying Boston. I'm saying Detroit, even though he was a game up.
No, but my point was that he delivered. Like, you couldn't find any fault with what Jordan did. He averaged 40. He'd go for 63.
So what about
they just lost.
You do realize that in the 3 finals that LeBron lost, he averaged 33, 11, and 9 in 3 finals losses. So did he not deliver? But you see, because
I'm saying what I said, Shannon, was we have seen moments. We obviously Dallas.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No question.
So I'm just saying, and I know LeBron's a different player now, but I'm just saying we can't look back at Jordan's career and say, oh yeah, he melted down in that moment, or he didn't deliver in that moment. He delivered, they just lost.
Wait a minute, the 3 he lost? I thought he lost 6.
I'm talking about the last 3. I ain't talking about when he was a baby. You know, old baby Cal, Bron. You know what I'm saying, Chris? Old baby Cal. We don't count them.
You mean meltdown, Bron?
There you go. See.
Broussard, great to have you. Appreciate it. Artie, I'm looking forward to seeing what Dame does Thursday. This whole playing mad thing, it's working. We'll check in with you soon, Chris.
No mercy.
The Athletic ranked the importance of each Clippers player, 1 through 15, and Kawhi, of course, came in first, followed by Paul George. In third was Patrick Beverley, due to his lockdown defense and recently hot three-point shooting. So, Shannon, do you agree that Pat Bev is the third most important Clipper?
No, I don't. He plays hard. He's diving on the floor. He's trying to get all the 50-50 balls. He's carved out a nice niche, but I'm not taking him as important over Trez or Lou Will, because there are times late in the fourth quarter that he's not on the floor. And there's not a time in the fourth quarter that Lou Will and Trez Harrell are not on the floor. So with that being said, no, I think Trez and Lou Will are much more important. Now, I don't have to much more, but I believe they're more important for them winning a championship than Patrick Beverley. That's not to say Patrick Beverley is not important, but I don't believe he's as important as Lou Williams and Trez Harrell. I believe he's the 5th most important guy on this roster. And with that, I turn it over to you.
And I believe he is third, as The Athletic proclaims. And I love the first line of this capsule about him. Those who watch this team closely won't be surprised by Beverley's ranking here. I do, and I'm not. I watch them closely, and I see just how valuable he is in 1,000 little different ways. This says he's one of the best role players, 3-and-D guards in the league, capable of checking anyone from Lillard to Doncic to Harden. Agreed. He gives the Clippers an edge few teams can match, makes all the little plays that help swing a close game. See Christmas Day, end of game, LeBron James about to shoot. Can we see it? About to shoot the tying 3. And what did Pat Bev do to 6'9" LeBron James? Here we go.
He knocked the ball out of his hands, Skip.
Well, he did. This is for the tie. And not only did he knock the ball out of his hands, he knocked it up back into LeBron's hands, through his hands, and out of bounds off LeBron.
What?
That is Pat Bev vintage.
Well, why don't you show the clip on March when Pat Bev became unplayable in the fourth quarter? Where's that footage?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. And what about James Harden dropped 40 on him? When Russ says Pat Bev got y'all food running around out here, and James Harden dropped 40 on him. Where's that footage?
He has basically been lights out shooting threes since January, in which he's 48% from threes since January the 1st. The Clippers basically says this breakdown, don't lose when he's flanking Leonard and George. I'll take him as the 3rd most valuable Clipper.
Skip, but what I'm confused is everybody been pounding the table. Wait till we get Lou Will. Wait till we get Trez back. Well, if you got Pat Bev, if you got Paul George and Kawhi, why do you need Lou Will and Trez?
Well, because you're the deepest team in the league.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And now you're in trouble.
No, I'm not in trouble.
Well, now they're back.
I'm good with where I am. Like I said, I stand by what I said. This is not to diminish him. I think Patrick Beverley, like I said, has carved out an unbelievable niche. He plays his role. He plays it well. He's an antagonist. We know that.
He is a fire starter. He led the charge against Damian Lillard the other day, the ridicule, the shaming, the mocking of Damian. He started it, and he finished it.
Skip, the guy, look. So you believe that Pat Bev can shut down Dame Lillard?
I think you can bother him.
Bother him how, to the tune of 40?
Who can shut down Damian Lillard? Nobody can.
That's my point.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm just going to say this again. Patrick Beverley, he's a starter. He's played well. When you have to go through what he's gone through to make it to this NBA, obviously you have something different in you. He has the stick-to-itiveness. He's not giving up. Because he believed that he should be here. And so now he's going to take the same approach. The same approach that led him here is the same thing that's keeping him here. But for me, and I watched the Clippers this year, had to watch them a lot more than I really cared to. Had to stay up a lot of nights to watch the Clippers play. Lou Will and Trez are more valuable because of the role that they give, because when those starters go to the bench, they either increase the lead or they get the lead back if the starters have given up a lead. And so with that being said, Skip Bayless, nah, give me Lou Will and Trez as in order of importance behind Kawhi and Paul George.
The tone setter, and I think the team leader is Patrick Beverley. I love those two guys coming off the bench, and I love what Lou Will said yesterday about Montrez, that he is going to be on a mission not only for his contract, but because he lost his grandmother, he's now come back with he's going to play for her. And Lou said, I feel sorry for the guys on the other team. Well, there we go.
Skip, Trez always played like that. Trez, they don't really run sets for Trez. Trez get balls off the backboard, dunks them home, lays it up. He runs the floor. He gets the loose ball. 80, 90% of the loose balls, the 50-50 balls, Trez is coming up with them. That's what he is. You never have to worry about his effort. That's what got him to stick, is his effort. Now that he's found a role, he's going to make himself a lot of money because he plays hard all the time. He can protect the rim, even though he's only 6'7". He gives you quality minutes. He plays starters minutes in a reserve role.
He does.
I don't worry about Trez. Oh, Trez all of a sudden going to play hard because of a contract. Nah, Trez is going to play hard because that's the way he's wired. That's the way he's built. So I'm not worried about all of a sudden he's going to take it up a notch. He's always played at a 10. That's just who he is. That's what he is.
So speaking of 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, how scared are you of the Clippers now that he's back?
He was there when we beat him in March, right?
So you're 0 scared?
He's there.
1?
He's a part of their team.
4?
I love
6.
Give me GOAT.
8.
Give me GOAT and AD. All we just need is a couple of timely shooters. Denny Green just give us 8 to 10.
Really?
That's all we need. Cool. Somehow find a way to give us 15, 18. And we got this.
AD?
I already worried about AD. AD gonna be 30 and 13.
Really?
30 and 13.
A lot of nights he's all done.
It won't be against you guys. Has he been all done against you guys? Don't worry about what he did against. Don't worry.
2 fourth quarters, he just completely disappeared.
Beat
all
the brakes.
done.
Hold on. What's our record against you guys? 4 games. 2-2, right?
2-2.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
No mercy.
During his first news conference as the Giants' offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett reflected on his time with the Cowboys. Garrett said, quote, "We had a lot of great days there. So again, I'm very grateful for that experience and the people that made that experience what it was." Skip, I got to start with you. What do you think about this? Do you like that he said it?
Shannon Sharp.
Yep.
I like Jason Garrett off the field. I covered him when he was the backup quarterback for the Cowboys dynasty of the 90s. Really a fine, nice guy, which is how he lasted 10 years as my head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm thinking when I heard this is just making me sick. He's talking about great days. What great days? When? I don't remember unless they were the great days that he and his wife vacationed on Jerry's yacht. Maybe those were great days. Because on the field, 10 years, they made the playoffs 3 total times in 10 years. These are the Dallas Cowboys. This is America's team. You make the playoffs 3 times, 14, 16, and 18, and you managed to win only 2 playoff games in 10 years at home. You win none on the road. No, these are the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm thinking one of those 2 that you won, Detroit got robbed at Jerry World. And it was after the 24th. I'd be the first to tell you. I said it on television after this.
That
they got robbed because, well, look at Hitch.
You
Not
hold
just
it.
pass interference on Brandon Pettigrew. He just interfered. And they picked up the flag, and I couldn't believe it because it turned the game. That's passing.
And even Dez ran out on the field with his helmet off. That's unsportsmanlike conduct.
I got it. Now, you can argue that got canceled by the Dez catch at Green Bay in the next game, and they should have won that game, but they didn't. So 2 playoff wins, one thanks to Dak Prescott both throwing it and running it against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. I'll give you that one. But I can't give you anything else because there's nothing else to give. He should have been fired after the 3rd straight 8-8 season to start his run. And because Jerry loved him like a son, because Jerry was comfortable with him, because he did whatever Jerry told him to do, he lasted 10 agonizing years. And I'm so glad he's now calling plays for the New York Football Giants.
So in other words, the 6 previous years, that Jerry had Tony Romo. They only went to the playoffs one time, and he made Tony Romo the highest-paid quarterback in the NFL.
I thought this was about Jason Garrett.
I'm going to tell you about Jason. So
that's another son of Jerry.
Jason Garrett says, I had Dak for 4 years and went to the playoffs twice. Skip, look, I understand. Jason's not going to say anything negative because, as you said, he was there 10 years when he probably should have only been there 3 years. So what's he going to say bad? Jerry has made him wealthy beyond his wildest dreams. True. So I can't say anything about the man that put my bank account and helped start generational wealth in my family.
True.
But my problem is that Jerry and Steven never got any blame. The players never got any blame. Jason Garrett got all the blame. But when they won, Jerry and Steven did a great job of selecting players. The players are unbelievable. So Jason Garrett was cut out of the success, but took on the lion's share of the blame. That was my only problem. And you could, this is the Dallas Cowboys, I've been telling you. And name alone. I don't understand how they started to be America's team because they won Jack in the 60s. They had a run in the 70s. They won Jack in the 80s. They had a great all-time run in the 90s. But in the 2010s, they did Jack again. And somehow they've remained for 50 years, 60 years now, America's team. How? Based on what? Every 10 years? Because the 60s, they didn't win anything, Skip.
They're always the most interesting team in pro football. They're always the most watchable team in pro football.
What interests me is winning. And you haven't done a lot of that in the last 2 decades. Why?
Well, Jason Garrett, number one.
Okay, no, Jason Garrett hasn't been the hold on. Jason Garrett has not been the head coach for 25 years. There's one thing that's remained the same for the last 25 years. Can you tell the people at home, what's his real name, Skip Bayless?
Gerald Wayne Jones Jr.
Also known as Jerry.
Jerry Jones.
So that's the
and he's gotten a lion's share of the blame.
No.
Yes. For hiring puppet coaches.
That's what he wants. He got to be Geppetto.
Except for Bill Parcells.
Right.
And then he forced Terrell Owens on Bill Parcells, and it blew up.
Right. He didn't have Jimmy. And he just couldn't stomach Jimmy no more because Jimmy gave him the Heisman poll, said, I need you to step back.
That is true. That should have gone on for 5 or 6 straight Super Bowls.
You would have had the Patriots before the Patriots.
That is correct.
Had Jerry stayed out of the way like Mr. Kraft.
He has taken a lot of blame. But Jason Garrett deserved the more recent blame.
Skip, you don't think Coach Belichick was as unbearable in situations as Jimmy Johnson?
Probably.
Of course.
Yep.
But Mr. Kraft said, you know what? I'm going to swallow my pride. And maybe once we know for certain. But one time he's like, nah, I'm putting my foot down and you're going to do this. But for the most part, Mr. Kraft stood back. Billy, go ahead and do your thing.
Yep.
Jerry would rather have been front and center, cheesing in front of the camera, as opposed to getting 5 or 6 Lombardi.
That is true. But next year, we don't need to blame anyone because there'll be no blame to be passed around.
Okay. No mercy.
During an appearance on the YouTube show Pool Kicks, Kevin Durant said calling LeBron the greatest of all time is, quote, crazy. Durant then said he believed Michael Jordan is the true GOAT. Shannon, what do you make of Katie's response?
Here we go again.
Well, I'm a firm believer that it's hard to say a peer is the GOAT, so because therefore you're saying that he's better than you. And Skip, when you play in an era, you're not going to concede that a player that you've played against is better than you. Now, Kevin Durant had a lot of time to sit around and watch The Last Dance, and it was an unbelievable documentary, although heavily edited and redacted, but that's neither here nor there. Kevin Durant's entitled to his opinion, but I respectfully disagree.
Do you? Yeah. Kevin Durant in this video laughed at one of the salespeople who even suggested that LeBron is better than Jordan. And he said, you crazy, because that is flat out crazy. Kevin Durant knows that head-to-head in LeBron's house, he outplayed him twice in back-to-back finals and won finals MVP. So he knows firsthand that the GOAT was the ghost up in Chicago.
Did LeBron not beat Kevin Durant? Did LeBron not knock Kevin Durant? LeBron was the reason Kevin Durant went to Golden State. You do realize that, right? It was LeBron. LeBron did that.
You mean back in 2012?
He made him do that.
Oh, that's when they were babies.
Made him do
Baby
that.
Thunder. Yeah.
So, look, I ain't got no problem. I don't have any problem with Kevin Durant saying that because I just know as the player. I don't care who it is. I'm not saying a current player that I played at the time of playing that I play a position that I play is better than me. No, I'm not saying no tight end that I'm playing is better than me.
Usually current players protect and endorse current players.
The OGs, I mean, look, I get it, Skip. Stop trying to cause dissension between KD and LeBron. It ain't there.
It's there.
That is it for Undisputed. Big thanks to
I'm the goal to debate
for making time for us today. We're back at the same time tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Have a good one, guys.